This programme is brought to you by Santander and MasterCard, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
Evening. A month has passed since a remarkable and dramatic round of 16 concluded. Of the 8 still on the road to Madrid, half are from these shores. But there's plenty of work to be done before we can even contemplate a first English winner of this competition in 7 years. Barcelona have twice beaten Manchester United in Champions League finals. This evening they met at Old Trafford in the quarters. Few were giving United much chance against Messi and co, but then few gave them much chance against PSG. How's your bottle? Real Madrid's long reign as Kings of Europe came to an end against Ajax. Could Cristiano Ronaldo seek revenge on behalf of his former teammates, having dragged his new ones into the last 8?
Ronaldo! Doing what Ronaldo does!
We've got the best of last night's action too. Tottenham's new home made its European bow, and how, as Pep and his quadruple-chasing Manchester City came up short in the capital. Liverpool are chasing a double of their own, and Portuguese champions Porto have an uphill task again after the Reds gave themselves some wriggle room for next week. Michael Owen's been kicking every ball for the last couple of nights, I promise you, and will provide plenty of insight over the next hour. We'll begin with Manchester United, who've lost 3 out of 4 in all competitions since that dramatic win over PSG. All he needs to get a grip on his wheel and get his show back on the road, I fancy. The visitors to Old Trafford, though, Spanish champions-elect Barcelona. Solskjaer made just one change to the team beaten at Wolves 8 days back, with Marcus Rashford in at the expense of Jesse Lingard. Victor Lindelof, Chris Smalling and Luke Shaw made up a back 3 tonight. Meanwhile, Ernesto Valverde kept faith with 10 of the 11 that beat Atletico at the weekend. Some forward line-up, though, with Philippe Coutinho, Luis Suarez and Lionel Messi. Your match commentators at Old Trafford, Steve McManaman and Darren Fletcher.
Busquets lets one through. Messi on the blind side there of Victor Lindelof and lifts it into Suarez. And it's in. And Luis Suarez has scored. The flag is up. Yes, it is. He's going to pull with the assistant.
I think Suarez was offside from the Messi cross. And actually, this is a poor touch from Messi. Look at his touch here. It's not like him. Comes away from the goal there. And I think this is there. He's onside, doesn't he?
Well, the goal is being checked here by VAR. We've got the screens in front of us here. There's a white band across it that says goal checked, so they are going to take a look at this, as they always will. Gianluca Rocchi in discussion with Massimiliano Irati.
Goal.
He's given a goal, and we thought he would, because you could see by the replays that he was offside initially, but not involved in the move, and then he was back onside by the time he was crossed in by Messi, and that turns out to be Luis Suarez's 24th goal of the season. It's the worst possible start for Manchester United, and he's now scored 8 goals in his last 10 games for Barcelona. He's the man in form.
I actually think it was an own goal, Fletch. I think it was an own goal. This is a lovely ball in. Poor touch by the great man, but as he flips it into Suarez, he's almost heading the ball back to Coutinho, and it takes a touch off Luke Shaw's shoulder, I think it is, diverted into the back of the net.
Pico towards Messi. Smalling spotted it early. Messi stayed down. He got a bang on the head there. There's Marcus Rashford. Scott McTominay promising. Down goes McTominay. Referee says no penalty.
Let's have a look at it. The referee was in a perfect position.
Well, you can see the damage that's been done to Messi by the challenge on him by Smalling. That's why he went to ground.
Nothing wrong with that challenge.
He's received a appeal. Yeah, he's got a bloody nose for his trouble. Well,
actually,
there you go.
There's a little bit of contact, isn't he? Just there is the contact. I think it's the way, sort of the theatrics afterwards, maybe. It's just a flailing arm. It was an accident, wasn't it?
A long way with a long one here for Suarez to chase. Lindelof's touch has actually helped out the Barcelona player. Smalling got back. Coutinho, great save. David De Gea. Messi picks up the pieces. Here's Rakitic. Key save that by David De Gea. Here's Jordi Alba.
It's a really good save was low with his feet, wasn't it? Come through a host of bodies. It was a nice ball over by Longley. Good run by Suarez. He actually was helped out there. Holds the ball up really well. Of course, Coutinho. Sharp save, wasn't it, with his feet. Sticks that left foot out. Young floats one in. Alba heads it away. McTominay picks it up for United. Here's Lukaku. Rashford. Looks to measure the cross and coming in there with goal. It was a glorious opportunity. Back in again by Ashley Young and cleared away by Longley. And only Darren knows what he was doing there. Oh, what a lovely goal in by Rashford. Picks him out. Nobody there. What is he heading it back across for? Just go and bury it. He's a defender. He knows how to head the ball. There's Artur. Coutinho. Manchester United have been well organised in these kinds of situations most of the time tonight. Jordi Alba. See where Messi is again, just drifting away from the penalty area. Just desperate to try and get a kick at the ball. Semedo, that's a good ball to Suarez, who can't hit the target. What a poor finish. I was going to say he's their best outlet, isn't he, Semedo? He's been excellent. And this was lovely play in and out to Suarez. And it was a real poor effort from Suarez, wasn't it? Just slashed into the side netting, come right across the ball. Here's Messi, good tackle on him by Shaw. Vidal. Lionel Messi. Messi's gone down. They carry on here with Jordi Alba, good save. David De Gea got his ankles just right. That was brilliant by McTominay. What an air does Arsenal without doing that fletch. It's Manchester United's first Champions League quarter-final for 5 years. Barcelona are in the last stage of the competition for the 12th successive season, although they've not got past this stage of the competition since they last won it in 2015. Luis Suarez. Good tackle by Fred. Here's Semedo. Sergi Roberto. Pogba with a foot in. Foul. Came in from the side, didn't he there, Pogba? He didn't need to do it, Fletch. There were enough bodies across there. He doesn't need to do it. Well, it's one of the best in the business against maybe the best in the business. David De Gea up against Lionel Messi. Big moment in the tie, this. It's gone through the wall, and it took the sting off, thankfully, for Manchester United. I don't think he meant it, did he? Because he doesn't go along the floor, he lifts it up into the wall. Shaw over here with Messi, and that's the full-time whistle. It's half-time in the tie, shaking hands between Valverde and Solskjaer. Manchester United do live to fight another day. The key ball in the first half was played by that man there, Lionel Messi, to tee up Suarez, whose header brushed off the shoulder of Luke Shaw and found its way to the back of the Manchester United net. And it was given via VAR review. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will know, though, that they're still very much in this, and they could go to Barcelona next week with plenty to play for. And Paul Pogba played his part tonight. The Barcelona supporters who made the journey here to Manchester are the happier of the two sets of fans. Full time then here at Old Trafford tonight. It's finished. Manchester United 0, Barcelona 1.
It was a horrible start, Scott, in many respects, just to deflect a goal early on, but you recovered quickly.
Yeah, I thought in the first 10-15 minutes I thought we showed them far too much respect in terms of how we set about to go and press, and then after that we adapted really well and we started to take control of the game, and obviously we looked the better side. But as I say, it's just unfortunate that we didn't get a goal whenever we were on top. But as I say, it was probably an entertaining night to watch on the telly.
There's pluses and negatives. I thought we started sloppy and a bit nervous on the ball. We didn't really get the pressure on them, but after their goal we settled a bit, and I thought we played well. We had some very good performances of some individuals as well in midfield there. I thought they did really well, and it was at times we felt like a proper Man United team. You know, the crowd was behind us. We got wide. We got crosses in the box, and sometimes those crosses end up with a header on goal, and sometimes you miss them.
How did you feel you did with Lionel Messi? Bring it on, you said.
Yeah, I think the whole team, to be fair, I think we nullified them. I think especially in that first half, even though they scored, I think there was only one other shot that David had to make a save. And I thought as a team we stuck to our game plan and we just missed that goal.
A little thump you gave him didn't do any harm either.
No,
accidental, obviously.
Yeah. I think we was right on the front foot. I think we knew we had to bring that intensity to the game that they're not used to every week. And I thought we've got a lot to play for in the second leg.
Well, it seems weird to think that you lose 1-0 at home to Barcelona, and yet you might be almost better off going into the second leg than you were going into the first leg. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. It was a strange game because going into the game, I thought United have got to win and possibly win by a couple of goals to take it to the new camp. But after watching that today, I don't think they're out of it. I was not very impressed with Barca. I thought Manchester United at least deserved the draw out the game. In saying that, they didn't do too much to create so many chances, not many attempts, let's say. Certainly not many on target either. So I'd say, yeah. So I'd say it was a disappointing game overall. But I still think it's not in the balance, but I still think they've got a squeak.
That said, the last time Barca won the first leg away in Europe and were knocked out over the two legs was in 1984 against Metz. So it's still a big ask, not least because they got the away goal, got it early, and maybe that explains why they were a bit weirdly between stools after that, but it's well worked, the goal, isn't it?
Yeah, I think both teams were sort of in between. Especially with Manchester United going with two up front. Yeah. And then I thought behind that there was a very much a defensive side to them. But the goal obviously came early, a little bit of dispute whether it was offside or not. I think that was the first stage, and certainly unfortunate from Luke Shaw's point of view, but Coutinho was going to nod it into an empty net anyway, so there was little he could do.
Yeah. In fact, you thought the VAR check was for whether Suarez was interfering for the chip over the top for Messi, weren't they?
Definitely. In the first phase, I thought Suarez was offside, but he wasn't interfering with play, and I think that's what VAR looked at, because there was no question nobody else interfered in any illegal way, let's say, for the goal.
Yeah. As it stands, then, no shot on target for United tonight. In fact, Fellaini's the only goal scorer in the Champions League for them at Old Trafford this season, that late goal against Young Boys. Barca didn't do an awful lot else other than the goal. They had bits and pieces chances, didn't they, really, after that?
Yeah, they did. They had a couple of chances. We'll see one here.
Good save, you thought?
De Gea, good save, probably his main save of the game, let's say. But apart from that, Suarez had a bit of a half chance, let's say, but Manchester United did limit them to chances. In fact, the whole game was quite devoid of chances. I thought this was a great little run and ball. And of course, at this angle, you've got to go for pace. I don't think you can slot that. You've got to go for pace, which then means that it's a harder strike, let's say. But you would expect him to do a lot better there, Suarez, and hit it across the goal. This was virtually impossible from that angle. Right. And that's about that, really. Yeah. So, one goal out of those chances is probably a decent enough return.
Worth a word on Scott McTominay. Saw him post-match, talks well, played well.
Yes, I'm really impressed with him tonight. I think every he's 22, but every player breaking through into a team has sort of defining moments, whether they can go on and do it. I think he might look back in his career and think this was one of them. When you're playing against Barcelona, you can't get any bigger. And I think he played, I thought he was a standout man for Manchester United tonight. Played particularly well, looked calm on the ball. I love his presence, the size of him in that midfield as well. And I think he'll look back, as I say, in the few little he could do.
Yeah. In fact, you thought the VAR check was for whether Suarez was interfering for the chip over the top for Messi, weren't they?
Definitely. In the first phase, I thought Suarez was offside, but he wasn't interfering with play. And I think that's what VAR looked at, because there was no question nobody else interfered in any illegal way, let's say, for the goal.
Yeah. As it stands, then, no shot on target for United tonight. In fact, Fellaini's the only goal scorer in the Champions League for them at Old Trafford this season, that late goal against Young Boys. Barca didn't do an awful lot else other than the goal. They had bits and pieces chances, didn't they, really, after that?
Yeah, they did. They had a couple of chances. We'll see one here.
Good save, you thought?
De Gea, good save, probably his main save of the game, let's say. But apart from that, Suarez had a bit of a half chance, let's say, but Manchester United did limit them to chances. In fact, the whole game was quite devoid of chances. I thought this was a great little run and ball. And of course,
it's inadvertent, and I'm joking, but it perhaps explains why he was a bit quieter than normal.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty average tonight, Messi. I don't think that helps. And
Chris Smalling has a reputation. We call it being a rash in the game. As a centre forward, you hate playing against that type of player because a lot of the time they hurt you. They just don't know how or why, but they are so aggressive in the tackle and their arms are flailing. You get sore, knees into your legs and things like that off them. And Chris Smalling, trust me, I trained with him for a few years. He's one of those players that you always come off worse against him, and Messi felt the brunt of it tonight.
He did, yeah, all elbows, knees and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they've had the great away days this season, perhaps more so than at home, certainly in this competition, obviously Turin and particularly Paris. So will they use that? Will that be a little bit of the thinking for next week? Because obviously there's the league to go for in terms of top four as well as the Champions League.
It has to. They have to use that. Going into this game, I thought, well, Barcelona are a different kettle of fish to Paris Saint-Germain, if that's going to be the case. But after watching it tonight, I don't think they'll really fear going to the new camp now. Of course, Barcelona are very, very likely to go through now. But, as I say, with the past, with what Manchester United have done in Paris in particular, with that belief that they'll have, and with their counter-attacking style away from home, then they have still got a squeak.
A squeak. We'll take that.
Yeah.
We'll have to. On the way, we will wrap up the rest of tonight's action as we head to Amsterdam. Juventus Champions League hopes ended by Real Madrid in both 2017 and 2018. Tonight they were facing their nemesis conquerors as Ronaldo and co took on a resurgent Ajax. We'll have the very best of the action from the three Premier League sides involved last night shortly, but first we go to Amsterdam to complete tonight's action. Ajax sprung one of the surprises of this season's competition when they ended Real Madrid's period of dominance in the Bernabeu in the round of 16. Tonight they faced a Juventus side hoping to benefit from Real's absence. The Italians, of course, are on the verge of another Scudetto at home, but it's continental prizes, this one in particular, that they really desire. Commentary on this one from Martin Keown and Peter Drury.
Matuidi, Bentancur, Bernardeschi, who pulled so many of the strings last time round, and gets a shot away with ferocity, which had Onana leaping across his goal mouth. Well, he enjoyed that, didn't he? Bernardeschi there, running with the ball with freedom. Not far away with that one. Schöner and Ziyech. And Ziyech again! With power. Well, Ziyech so full of confidence. Not a bad effort, just off target. Here's Frenkie de Jong. He's rolled in towards Tadic, who goes through a pair of pirouettes, and it came out to Ziyech! And Szczesny throw up a hand. Well, it's shooting practice, isn't it, for Ziyech? Ziyech knows exactly what he's doing. He's just looking for that top corner. Just shapes it. Just can't get enough power on it. Great effort from there. Neres. Tadic. Van der Beek! Tumbled and fired wide. Clever build-up again from Ajax. Just look at Tadic's run here, into space. Picks out Van der Beek, he just lets it run across his body and he just can't hit the target. But it's so close. Schöner. Oh, presented possession back here to Bentancur, who has Ronaldo up alongside, and Bernardeschi here, who is denied by an immaculately timed retrieval by Frenkie de Jong. That's what pace gives you. De Jong there. He has to time that to perfection, De Jong. Played in by Pjanic and hit on the volley by Ronaldo. Crisply wide. Oh, that's a good effort from there, isn't it? Just can't wrap his foot around it enough. Ronaldo. João Cancelo. Ronaldo! It's just astonishing. Champions League goal number 125. 12 years on from his very first. He is a flying phenomenon. It is so hard on Ajax, who have been splendid. Well, he's almost like Superman, isn't he? Ronaldo makes his run and he's in acres of space and he had nobody going with him, and he's always going to score from there. Keeper can do nothing about it. He's the king of Europe. The only Champions League or European Cup tie that Ajax have won against Juventus was actually the final in 1973. Since then, there's been a two-legged quarter-final in 78, the 96 final, the two-legged semi in 1997, and two group games in the autumn of 2004. Ajax have won none of them. So Ajax have it to do, and to that end here is Neres, who's made good progress and scored wonderfully. What about that? The blue touch paper is lit in a trice by David Neres. Wow, that's just staggering. Cancelo here though, what is he doing? It's a poor touch. Neres though, he's on it in a flash, and when he comes inside and clips that, it's a beautiful finish, wonderful. A man who made his international debut for Brazil just last month has put the cat back amongst the pigeons here. Ziyech, Van der Beek. Tadic went over, no foul against Bonucci. Van der Beek's back onto it though. And look at the space ahead of Tagliafico here. Tagliafico! Boy, that was travelling. Wow. Tagliafico, from where we're sat, it looks as if it's in, but it just drifts past that post. Pjanic. Van der Beek insisted on having it back via the referee for Ziyech. And Ziyech for Tadic. And Tadic here for Eklenkamp! Denied a dream goal by Szczesny. Wonderful move again. Van der Beek getting it back. Little back heel. He finds the angle and he's plenty on the shot. It's an outstanding save. Here's Douglas Costa. Away from Ziyech. Douglas Costa has hit the post. He was rapid there, wasn't he, Costa? Veltman does him for pace. Just in a flash, really. Gets it onto his left foot. Hits it with power, pace. Oof, it was close. It is a compelling tie. It was a terrific football match. And at its halfway stage in Amsterdam, the scoreline reads Ajax 1, Juventus 1.
Wojciech, for the neutral, that was a brilliant game to watch. Was the draw a fair result today?
It was quite fair. There were two teams that played completely different style of football. They play very high and they try to press. We are more compact and we have a lot of strength in our back four, and then we try to hurt them on the counter attack and set pieces. So it was a good game. In the end, I believe a fair result. Do
you think those misses might come back to haunt you really when you go to Turin next?
Yes, maybe, but I think Juventus is a very strong team and they know to play really good on result. And sometimes even if you're better, it's difficult to beat them. They're a very tough team with a great mentality, but we will do our best.
Is there pressure on Juventus this year? There's a lot of talk about you getting to the final to win the silverware finally. Do you feel that as a team?
I think once you arrive to the last 16 or quarterfinals, the target is always to win the competition. With the players we have, it's normal that the pressure is there and everybody expects us to do well. So we hope to live up to that expectation.
Reshman Chowdhury with the questions. Weirdly, this was close to a carbon copy, wasn't it, of the game in Amsterdam against Real Madrid in the last round. All Ajax, and then they kind of paid for their over-exuberance.
Yeah, but they're great to watch. Yeah. They create chances. They give away a few chances as well. And you only have to cast your mind back to that last round and to know that this game's not over. Yes, Juventus will go home happy with the result, with the away goal. But it's far from over. They can score goals, and they can score goals against the best of defences as well. Yeah, if they were a little more clinical, it might have been a much better night for Ajax than it has turned out, although I guess they'll probably end up taking the 1-1 as well. But had lots of chances first half, Mike. Yeah, they did. As I say, they do create a lot of chances. They're exceptionally talented, young team. Yeah. I'm afraid I think that they'll be broken up a lot next season, but let's enjoy them while they're here at the moment because they are brilliant. A lot of the chances were from outside the box, a lot of shots, but they do penetrate well. They've got pacey players. and they score plenty of goals. So, as I say, great team to watch.
Terrific, yeah. I mean, they've spent a little bit of money. They haven't won a trophy, even domestically, since 2014. So the likes of Daley Blind, and Dusan Tadic cost quite big money for a Dutch team. But all of this effort, in the end, undone right on the stroke of half-time, aren't they?
Yes, it was, and it was that man again. And as you say, there was plenty of chances for Ajax, but I love the way Ronaldo here takes the ball away from danger, away from the defender. But look at his desire compared to everyone else's. The ball doesn't just fall on a plate for Ronaldo. People just think that he must be lucky, but I just want you to watch the actual, the desire. That's a word that I'd use for it. Look at this now. As soon as he plays it, there's only one player that's going to score a goal here. Right into where it hurts, into the right areas where goals are scored, and he times it to perfection. And of course, his heading ability is unquestionable.
Amazing. It's his 97th headed goal, his 125th goal in the Champions League in 161 appearances. I know the numbers. We do it every week with both him and the other fella, but it is extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. That said, they could have gone in and heads down at half-time, couldn't they, Ajax? But they came out and literally from the kick-off picked on a mistake from, I think it's Cancelo at right back.
Yeah,
they're back on terms.
It's a big mistake from Cancelo. This straight away in the first half, you don't want to give anybody any encouragement, let's say. And this is a lovely finish, really nice finish. He doesn't even look at the goal here, but you see Cancelo. That's a poor mistake. I mean, I'm not saying he should kick it into Rose head, but you shouldn't be really controlling it like that. And all the bodies, around there. And yeah, it's a lovely finish.
I particularly enjoy Szczesny's dive approximately 30 seconds after the ball's in the net, but there we go. He sees it go in and then dives. There we go. Neres, another one of those, as you've rightly mentioned, who probably will be cherry-picked by richer clubs come the summer. Certainly De Jong's gone. De Ligt looks like he's gone. So we have to enjoy it while they can keep together. And how much of a chance do you give them in Turin?
I do give them a chance. Nobody give them a chance at the Bernabeu, and
no.
And I just think that they're that type of team that go without any fear. They've got a lot of young players. They're all in the shop window, so to speak. They're enjoying their football together. You just have to watch them play, and you can see that there's a real enjoyment about their football. Neres is obviously scoring the goal today, but they've got a lot of players that can score goals.
Yeah. One to look forward to next week. We'll have it, of course, for you. Still to come tonight, we'll look back at last night as Tottenham, Manchester City and Liverpool all sought first-leg advantages. Mauricio Pochettino, of course, looking for the upper hand against City as Spurs' new stadium made its European debut. Pep Guardiola hoping to take a step closer to that unprecedented quadruple, or in fact, maybe even quintuplet. And Jurgen Klopp, of course, has ambitions of a double of his own. His Liverpool side hosted Porto. All of that when we come back. Welcome back to last night now, as promised, and the all-Premier League affair first. Tottenham's spectacular new stadium was the stage for their clash with Manchester City, no less. The commentators, Jermaine Genius and Darren Fletcher.
Here is Gundogan, and now Sterling. Fascinating battle out there against Trippier. Sterling makes room. Raheem Sterling running at Trippier. Just kind of confidently goes through everybody and gets a shot on target. It's a good job there from a Tottenham standpoint that Danny Rose was in the way. They are just taking a look at the moment for any potential handball in there by Danny Rose. But the pictures that you're seeing are the actual pictures that Bjorn Kuipers, the referee, is being shown. The directive is that if you make your body bigger in any way, shape or form, the officials are being encouraged to give a penalty. And that's what he's done. It's a penalty to Manchester City for a handball by Danny Rose.
Really worrying signs for the game, in my opinion. Really worrying signs. I get the rules are what they are. I feel like that's a bit of a step in the wrong direction as far as I'm concerned.
Well, all eyes inside the stadium are trained on Sergio Aguero. And a massive moment for the Tottenham captain, Hugo Lloris. He saved it! Well, the cheer inside the stadium nearly takes the brand new roof off. And the Tottenham captain delivers when his team really needed it. And Sergio Aguero, who hardly ever fluffs his eyes when it really matters, can't capitalise on the penalty spot.
Well, you can only feel that justice has been done. Should never have been a penalty in the first place. That's a huge moment.
Dele Alli been away from Nicholas Otamendi. That's a free kick as well. Played over here. Kane beat away. Well, he had the whistle to his mouth there, Bjorn Kuyt as the referee to blow, and then spotted that Harry Kane was in a good position and instantly gave the advantage to Tottenham.
It was good refereeing. I felt like City almost switched off, if anything, thinking that the free kick was going to be given. Kane's got the chance. Possibly could have squared it, but it just didn't quite fall to Son. And that's a big chance for Harry Kane, that.
David Silva. Gundogan can pick out Aguero. Sterling's on his way forward as well, and he's unmarked here, Raheem Sterling. Well, Lloris down, and he was happy to see Toby Alderweireld ahead of him to make the clearance as well.
It's lucky that from Spurs, they got themselves almost like a 3v2 situation. Gundogan, Aguero and Sterling on this left-hand side. He picks out his man, Aguero. I was thinking, would he hit it first time? It's a good strike with nobody following in.
Now Heung-min Son. He's going to hit one, Son, with a lot of whip. And he wasn't that far away. Now, the man who scored the first ever goal inside this stadium last week against Crystal Palace, with a real rangefinder there for Tottenham.
You knew as soon as he hit Gundogan with that step over, he was going to give it a go. It was a good enough effort to get Edison worried, scurrying across towards his right-hand post.
Son threading it through to Dele Alli, who took it well. Otamendi with a well-timed challenge. There was a third one as well, wasn't it, between the two England men, Fabian Delph and Harry Kane, and he just had a word there with Harry Kane, and Pochettino's come to the edge of the Tottenham technical area, as you can see, but there was no love lost there between two England internationals.
Yeah, I think he's done some serious damage here, Harry Kane. He doesn't look happy at all. He's just limped off the pitch and shook his head. It's that ankle again that has plagued him for long periods of his career, unfortunately. You just see him just hobble down the tunnel.
So that's a huge blow for Tottenham Hotspur. Harry Kane limping straight towards the Tottenham dressing room. Awkward header by Laporte. Helped out though by Delph. Here's Moura. Dele Alli. Danny Rose on the run down the other side. He's come back this way though. Dele Alli. Here's Eriksson. Son's made the run. Son couldn't take it initially. Still keeps it in though. Son. And he's in. Oh, he scored! Heung-min Son with a goal for Tottenham against the run of play. Manchester City have been dominating for the last 10 or 15 minutes, and Son, who so often provides the big moment when Tottenham need it, has provided a huge goal there. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester City 0.
That's brilliant from Son. He's the one that doesn't give up on this. The ball's not on his own side. That's the first decision. Now, does this ball go out of play is the next one? That doesn't look like it's out of play to me. Fabian Delph stood there with his hand in the air instead of defending. It's a brilliant goal from Heung-min Son. That ball's not out. That goal should stand.
Well, they are checking for potential offside leading up to the goal. He's given it. The big green banner on the screen says check over, and that confirms that it's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester City 0.
Here's the decision. Can't score with your arm, so he's not offside.
Well, the loudest cheer of the night signifies the full-time whistle. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester City 0.
Tense affair, not least for next week now as well. A couple of stats actually that Spurs fans will want to hear. They've gone through the last 9 times they've won the first leg of a European knockout tie, and Pep's only won 2 of 8 Champions League ties when he's lost the away leg first.
Well, they do point to in favour of Tottenham, let's say, and you'd have to say that Manchester City were favourites going into this tie, but now it puts it really evenly in the balance, and Tottenham played well.
How big a blow is the loss of Harry Kane?
Well, it is, of course it is. He's the talisman. Unfortunately, it looks quite serious, doesn't it, as well? Yeah. You know, you can just see the ankle go over there. It's the ankle he's previously injured. It's not good. I don't blame Fabian Delph in any way, shape or form. In fact, I think Kane's gone to give him a little bit of a good tackle or a shoulder barge, let's say, and he's come off worse. But it's really, really sad for that man and for Harry Kane himself, because no one wants to see anyone get hurt.
No. Obviously, we're waiting for a clearer diagnosis. It'll probably be a few days. You'll know better than I with the swelling to go down and so on. Weirdly, Spurs do quite well without him, statistically. I know sometimes you get these weird anomalies. Gerrard at Liverpool, sometimes they seem to play better without him. I'm not sure if stats are the full story, but if stats are to be used in some way, Spurs do pretty well without Harry.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it, when someone scores so many goals like that they can be better off without him. But Son, in particular, seems to really up his game. Of course, he was brilliant yesterday, but he scores lots of goals in Kane's absence, or he has done in the past.
Yeah.
His goal from yesterday was an average first touch, but then after that he makes up for it. You've got to question the goalkeeper. I think maybe we'll just watch the goalkeeper today that's brilliant with his feet. David De Gea, I guess he would save this because he's got such quick reactions with his feet. But take nothing away from Son, he's almost recycled a ball that was, looking like going out of play and turned it into a goal.
So he scores a goal every 70 minutes when he plays without Kane, but only every 250 minutes with Kane. Obviously, in the meantime, it's Harry who scores most of the goals, so that's part of the explanation. But that's right. Interesting too.
It is. I mean, he plays in a further forward position. In fact, he's actually played as a centre forward on occasions when Kane's been out. So position changes a little bit. I think it's a mindset thing as well a lot of the time. When your main man's not there and you think, right, I've got to step up, I've got to be the one scoring goals today. So I think that there's that as well. There's no question he's upped his game significantly since he first came into the Premier League. He couldn't really get a game at the start, and now every time you watch him, he gets more and more impressive.
Yeah, close to undroppable. Pep dropped, rested a few, De Bruyne, Sane, etc. Brought them on late. Though all that said, if they score, and you'd normally expect Aguero to score, a penalty in the first few minutes of the game, it's a very different story.
It is. You certainly would expect him to score from the penalty spot. Such a good finisher. I mean, everyone's spoken about the actual decision, but it seems to be getting given all the time now. But it's a really poor penalty, good saving height for the goalkeeper. And, of course, you're looking at the season as a whole now, and you're thinking Premier League, Champions League, 2 huge penalty misses for Manchester City, potentially. Of course, there was one at Anfield early on the season. Who knows whether that'll... And then there's one there yesterday. So time will tell, but the penalty spot could cost Manchester City.
Who goes through in that one?
Manchester City.
Thank you. We continue with last night's business now, and Anfield is our final quarter-final first leg destination. Liverpool comfortably overcame Porto, you'll remember, in the knockout phase of last season's competition, but the Portuguese champions looking to give a much better account of themselves this time around. Commentary for this one from Robbie Savage and Ian Dark.
Nice work from Fabinho. Milner, good ball that for Mane. Firmino's showed himself well. Keita's got a chance, he's deflected it in! Liverpool ahead in the 5th minute. And Keita's involved yet again. Big deflection on that. He doesn't care. Liverpool don't care. They're 1 up already.
Milner with a great ball out wide to Mane. Just look at them when he's getting forward. Great centre forward play from Firmino. And there Torres dives in to try and make the challenge. It's unfortunate for Torres. It's on target. You see it's no chance. Great start for the Reds.
Still Keita's goal. It was an on-target effort, but owed a lot to that deflection off Oliver Torres. Looks like Van Dijk and Lovren have just switched over and they've given the ball away here, and Salah's in. Could make it too, but he's missed it. He slid it wide. And that would have given Liverpool very clear water.
He was alert. He's on to the pass. Raised the challenge ever so well there. He could have gone down, but he wanted to score a goal. Just the ball got stuck under his feet.
Roberto Firmino across to Henderson, who assesses the options. Alexander-Arnold is one of them. Oh, and it's brilliantly done. It's brilliantly done. Firmino finishes it off. Picture book goal from Liverpool. And now they lead by 2.
Brilliantly timed run from Alexander-Arnold. Great ball from Henderson. Got in ever so easy. Brilliantly timed. What a pass. Alexander-Arnold with a look up. Finds his centre forward. 2-0. Brilliant Liverpool.
Oliver Torres Great ball, Marega's in here. Chance for an away goal for Porto. And a fantastic save from Alice on there. There was Porto's chance to change the whole dynamic of things here. Suarez doesn't get a proper header on it. Back by Corona, off Keita. And eventually, Liverpool are happy just to concede the corner kick. Now they're claiming there might have been a handball in it. Look at all those players. So here's one for the VAR. Is there a hand in all of this?
So obviously Alisson gets a touch on it. Oh, it's hit him on the arm.
I think in the Premier League that'd be seen as ball to hand, but maybe not by UEFA's guidelines. It's not going to be a penalty. Whoa, I tell you what, the Kop were holding their breath there, collectively. Here comes the corner kick. Back down there again, and Marega had a real chance. He was onside as well, big chance. He's had two in the space of 2 minutes, and Porto might have had a penalty too.
Big opportunities. Will they get two as good as that?
Okay, it's a glorious ball to Henderson. Salah's waiting in the middle. Play behind him. Firmino can't finish it. But that was another glorious Liverpool move.
Tries to guide it into that top corner. Maybe should have put his foot through it.
Liverpool have looked full of invention. Henderson, what a ball that is. Mane! Three, flags up, won't count. Ruled out straight away.
Yeah, it's a great ball from Henderson. It's very tight.
There'll be a VAR check on this as well to see whether he really was offside. It stands, the decision, and denied a third goal. Corner kick, not quite away as yet. Salah gave it away. Oliver Torres, nothing doing there for Porto. I think there might be a VAR check going on here concerning Lovren, we believe. There. Nothing doing anyway. It's fallen to Salah, and he's got the other side of it there. Militao, Danilo, big challenge there. And suddenly the game catches fire again.
Just look. Over the top of the ball.
He might have been a lucky boy, really, looking at that again. And that is it. 2-0 it is to Liverpool. They don't concede the away goal, perhaps crucially, and will look to build on that and make their way into the semi-finals next week in Portugal.
Well, you and I were both there last night. Job done and not much more?
Definitely, yeah. I think before the game, if you say 2-0, you'd snap your hands off if you were Jurgen Klopp. So I think it's a good result. I think the only disappointment was 2-0 after, early doors. You think, right, go on, put this game to bed. And it didn't quite happen in the second half. Porto played a little bit deeper, but I think it was important for Liverpool not to concede a goal, and they didn't, and that was a very good result in the end.
Yeah, Naby Keita, like the bosses, gets one, gets two, big deflection, but you'll take it, won't you? Of course you will.
Definitely, yeah. I thought Firmino played a huge hand in that goal, just understanding that his teammate was in trouble, and then he plays a different type of role, starts and finishes the move. I thought this was a real top-class goal as well. Great run, great weighted ball, and Firmino getting in there again into the 6-yard box where most goals are scored. So it was the perfect start for Liverpool, and as I say, you just wanted them to kick on after that, but it wasn't to be, and the main thing is that they kept the clean sheet.
Indeed. There was a bit of VAR debate, as there's going to be with most games now. A handball with Trent Alexander-Arnold at the far post, which I think everybody agreed on review was something or nothing. But the Mo Salah one a bit later, perhaps on another night.
Yeah, it's one of those that does look really bad, and I've been in this position loads of times myself where you're not trying to hurt your opponent. Yeah. There's no question that he's not trying to, because it looks like a leg-breaking tackle, but you don't mean that. He actually gets pulled back, so he's already sort of leaning that way. And then sometimes you just put your foot there to protect yourself in a way, to win the ball. But if you just get there late, it looks all of a sudden like a leg-breaking tackle. I know it looks bad, and I know plenty of referees would give a red card. But I also know that he's not intended to hurt his opponent there. So it is a tricky one. You have seen red cards given plenty of times for it.
So, next week you've said City, Juve?
Yes.
Liverpool.
Yes, Barcelona.
Barca.
Yeah. Then Liverpool will beat Barca in the semis.
Right.
City will beat Juve, and it'll be Liverpool City final.
Apologies to the rest of the supporters around Europe, but that will be some to finish the season. As you can imagine, every game matters, and every game live, of course, across the network with us next week. Before that, there's Europa League quarter-final action on the agenda on BT Sport tomorrow. A tough tie in store for Arsenal. They take on Napoli with coverage on 2HD and 4K UHD from 7:15 p.m. Chelsea are in the Czech Republic to face Slavia Prague. That's on 3HD from 7:30. Elsewhere, there's the all-Spanish clash between Villarreal and Valencia. That one is on ESPN HD from 7:45. Completing the set, Benfica against Eintracht Frankfurt on Extra 2HD at 8 p.m. Tough for Arsenal?
Very tough for Arsenal, yeah. I think between Napoli and Chelsea for that competition, actually.
Do you?
Yeah, I think Chelsea are looking strong. They've got a good draw. Yeah, Napoli are a strong team, I think. Yeah. And Arsenal, especially away from home.
Yeah, first leg at home, so they need to get some goals in the bank. Just a couple of back pages before we go. Telegraph Sports section. Now United need another miracle. Wins in Turin, of course, in Paris. Now they'll need one at the Nou Camp. And so bloody tough on the back of the Star. Messi and co-give Ole, new mountain to climb in Reds' face fight for survival, also on the back of the Metro. Well, it's simmered this week, the Champions League. It'll blow the bloody lid off next week. More clues next week on BT Sport.
Quarter-finals of the Champions League, really getting towards the sharp end of it now.
It is a compelling tie.
Half time of the time, and Manchester United do live to fight another day.
This programme was brought to you by Santander and MasterCard, UEFA Champions League sponsor.